Okay, so we can start the meeting. And I'd like to open the meeting by welcoming everybody. And we'll have a review of the minutes to start the meeting. Did you get a chance to take a look at the meeting? Which is the site, the golf cart tour. There was a lot that we did the last time. And in conjunction with the golf cart tour, we will discuss what we need to do today. So is there any question about the site golf cart tour before we proceed with our discussion?
You had the golf cart tour already, didn't you?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay.
You missed that
I missed
stand.
that. Yeah.
But did you get the minutes of the meet of the golf
Yes.
cart? Yeah, and you had a chance to review it.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, you are assigned, of course, to do the history and the research on the Carver Theater.
Right. Now, are we discussing that now?
Yeah, we are going to discuss what we're going to do with the sites.
Because I found it very difficult getting information about the Carver Theater. I get I think it was the Palladium Theater, but
No, the Carver Theater is uniquely in the Cape Charles area.
yeah, I know where it is, or where it was anyway, but
So what we're trying to find out about the sites are the people connected with the sites so that we could have information about them. So you'll have to do some research on the people and what happened to them and what happened to the theater. So it's really requires historical digging.
Okay.
And so in terms of that question, I think it's important what we are going to do now with the sites that we have identified. And in terms of what we know about the site, we have to discuss what is the criteria for us to use in order to determine that the site is important enough for us to do a historical review or historical research and to select which site we'd like to designate a historical marker. So from what we know about, I think Tom Godwin is a member of this committee too, but he's not here today. So from the site, it seems that we need to review a little bit what we know about the site in order to determine which one are important to include in the tour, in the map of the historical sites that are important for the Black history of Cape Charles.
Betty, one of the things early on is if we're trying to establish priorities, we might give priority to those locations where there's still a building that maybe people could relate to. I throw that out for discussion. I know having a marker on a vacant lot doesn't have the same significance to me as a marker where a building is viable and standing. But on the other hand, maybe while the building is there, we don't have people to tell us about that building. So what do you think?
Well, I'm thinking that perhaps one way to designate these sites is to locate them in the map, like what Walter is doing. and then see what we can do as a product, final product for all these sites. Like I have sent a link in terms of the virtual tour that the museum has about the various structures of the trains outside the museum. And I think that we can adopt a similar project in terms of illustrating the diversity of the Black presence here, and then create a virtual tour that will give a sense of what life was like at that time. And there are certainly structures that are present that we need to designate, and perhaps really designate for preservation, because they might be starting to crumble and will be lost, much like many of the structures that have been lost already, like the Big Elephant building and the Carver Theater, which really are hubs of the community at the time. And so what we have remaining as structures would be the Lenora Mitchell store and the next door Greenleaf Tavern, and of course the Tom Godwin's original Gray funeral site on Randolph Avenue. But that's now privately owned, and so those are the structures that are remaining. But the big time businesses that are present have been demolished already, and which seems to be really centers of the community life, such as the Carver Theater and the Big Elephant building, and also the grocery store of the Jefferson Daniel grocery store, which is the first business both black and white, that opened in Cape Charles in 1884, which is the oldest business here, really, considering that the Cape Charles was incorporated in 1886.
And Mary, there's one other thing that we have to, I think, take into consideration. Those structures that are existing, that currently exist, the property values are just increasing dramatically. And Lenora's store, for example, you know, I know that she's been offered many times by potential buyers to sell the property. So far, she has not, but it's a valuable property, right?
Yeah.
So how do we have to, I guess, figure out how do we find a way that we can keep those properties in a fashion that they can become the monuments or you know, structures that we would like people to visit, instead of having people take it, you know, having people take an offer and selling the property for a tremendous amount of money. I mean, that's an issue that I see with that property, that particular spot. Now, I don't know what Lenora's intentions are. She hasn't indicated that she's willing to give into that yet, but that's definitely a consideration, right? Keep the property for historical purposes versus, you know, using it, selling it and reaping the benefits from it. Just not hers, but any other property that still exists, right?
Yeah. So
Is she willing to do something like that? Keep the,
like what's then?
like, you know, keep the property as a historical value.
She's absolutely open to that discussion, but at the end of the day, I have no idea what she would ultimately do.
we need to protect the property too from further development once it's designated, so that, like, if Lenora passes on the property to her heirs, what would happen to the property? Would they be sold by the heirs, or so there has to be some protection. So perhaps we need to look into the historical designation, whether that will protect the property, and whether what tax benefits perhaps the owner might obtain, and what the financial considerations are.
And that's true for any current structure before it gets demolished or sold or
Yeah.
otherwise completely changed.
Like I have talked with the current owners of the Randolph Grace Funeral Parlor property, and they seem reluctant to have the designation because that will bring people into the property and look at it. And so we do need to, we just cannot designate the sites that are present
Mhm.
without really asking the owners in terms of what they want to do.
Okay,
Well, you know, the sidewalk is public. I think this notion of a map that Walter is doing is a tremendous first step. That it's like in Richmond, there's a black walking guide of Richmond. Maybe you've been on it, and it's published. I'm not sure about who publishes it, but you know, you grab it and it's kind of a fold out thing, and you just walk from one place to the other. And I don't know if those locations have necessarily been protected or established as historic landmarks, but the fact is they did exist. And I think we are in our rights if we point those out, and maybe we say in the map, please stay in the public area. But I would love to see a walking map of Cape Charles with the some 6 to 8 historic references we've identified. And that's a tremendous start, and probably wouldn't take as much effort as getting a placard on a property.
Well, that's why I get excited about this virtual tour that the museum has, because we can easily
Yeah,
make virtual tour of all the sites by just pointing out the history of that site and where it is in the map, and people can just follow it on their own.
yes.
yes, right.
Yeah.
And that's where you would, the placard would come into
Then we
play.
can decide maybe the most popular place is where we put a placard.
Right.
Placards are hard.
Well, we may need to have permission from the town to put up a sign on the roadside.
But we don't need permission to publish a map.
No, and I don't think the town of Cape Charles, technically, VDOT owns the streets and the sidewalks in the town of Cape Charles. Did you know that?
What's that, John?
Technically, VDOT owns the sidewalks and the streets in the town of Cape Charles.
And so we need permission from them if we want to put a sign up.
I think they're the ones that approve the sign in front of the old school.
Mhm, right. So I think, but if we designate a virtual tour, we really just need to mention the address and the block,
Yeah,
and people can just follow it up, and then we can have a map to show where the sites are. But we do need to make a decision about what the important sites are so that we can incorporate them in the tour. And so that we can begin the process of finding out about these sites so that we can include the historical context in the tour. And that's where the interviews will begin to take shape.
yeah.
So our next
So
our
we-
next work will be to designate the important sites.
Well, I think they all are. If we've called them out, some we'll know more about than others, but I would put them all on. And you know, we're not going to know as much about some as others.
Yeah, and then there are many businesses that are operated from the homes that are really not declared businesses, but contributed a great deal to the lifestyle of the place. So we can just probably designate like the Jefferson area where many houses now have changed hands. But we can just designate the former owners and what they did in those communities then.
Yeah, that came out during the tour.
Yeah.
Kind of a second tier of house-run businesses.
Right.
Where
But you know, if it has an address and we have a name, maybe on the map, or maybe it's a, you know, maybe you have a first tier and then a second tier. You know, you do one loop, and for those, and you pick up the big ones, and then you have, if you want to, you can go on a second loop.
And we probably can get this information as we do the interviews when we inquire from them what the neighbor, whether they knew their neighbors.
And another thing we have to do is keep Godwin alive.
Well, this is really of crucial importance because many are in their advanced age and may not be around anymore. And so we do need to get the information as soon as we can.
Well, I would think that we first do the first tier with those 6 or 8 that we've identified,
Mhm.
and start designing a map. You know, we probably need somebody who's good at this kind of thing. Would you consider partnering with anybody in town?
Well, I have gotten in touch with Megan McPeak, who made the virtual tour of the museum's property outside, and she is eager to collaborate with us. So I may invite her to speak to the group about making the virtual tour because it has the map. And
What's her last name?
McPeak, Megan McPeak,
Spell that.
McMepeek. I have her information somewhere.
That's okay. That's okay. I think that's our next step in parallel with all these other things we're doing. Is once we have this, maybe it's just a fold out of a map with,
Yeah, you have, I mean, the Historical Society already has a walking tour of all the architectural houses in Cape Charles, and we can do something similar.
yeah.
Does that include the north side of the town? Or just the historic?
It's the historic
section?
district. It's just the historic district, I believe. of
Well,
all-
the whole town is the historic district from Fig down to Bay and Washington to Mason. But I wonder how much of the northern part of that area they include.
northern part is that the Bay Avenue area,
The
What-
Washington area. right.
Washington area. I think it includes all of the structure there.
That'd be good to see.
Yeah, I have the brochure in my possession.
How big is it?
Well, it's a fold out, like a long,
Hold it up. Have you got it there? Hold it up.
well,
11 by 17 paper folded or 8.5 by 11 folded?
it's the long business size that's folded over and double. Where is that?
Like legal size paper.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like
And
this would
folded
be.
over. And folded,
There's a lawyer. The lawyer would have it.
This is 11 by 14 or something like that.
mm,
Now,
okay,
this
I don't have,
is
it.
8.5 by 11.
Let me look for it.
Randall,
Anyway, it is available in the museum. I've been volunteering at the museum and I find a lot of this, of neat materials there that can be products for our project.
So if we went to the museum, we could pick up a copy.
Yeah, right, because the museum is the welcome center also. And we can have the brochure there. And people can begin to be informed about the project that we are making.
I've got some questions. Are we hearing that we want to have a map this size? Which obviously gives us more space to write things on the map.
Right.
Yes, so we can take a look at the example of the walking tour of the historical houses in Cape Charles. And I'm
Okay.
thinking it would be along the same line.
I was looking at my map this morning just now,
Mhm.
and it occurred to me that there aren't any sites to the west of, not even on or to the west of Pine Street. And so if our map includes all the way to Bay Avenue, there are no sites along Bay Avenue that we would be interested in.
That's
Do-
probably
do-
true because what is this, the furthest west street you have, Walter?
Bay Avenue.
No,
Pine.
Pine. Pine was the original end of the town. And then from Pine West was a dump. And somewhere in the 20s or 30s or 40s, it was filled in and they created the Sea Cottage addition, which includes harbor and bay. And then it
Okay.
became livable. So I think it's probably outside of our time scope.
But I think they included some of the houses on Bay Avenue, which were part of the Sea Cottage addition. The map of the historical map of the architectural houses in Cape Charles.
Well, there's certainly some fine homes on Bay Avenue, but there aren't any sites in our study.
Yeah, if the map should be a map of where we have sites.
The Gallup Court is on Washington Avenue.
Can you all
Yes.
see this?
But it's closer to Strawberry than it is to Bay.
Yes, it is.
Much
Can you
closer.
all see the map I'm holding up?
Yeah,
That's on my laptop computer. And it would cover the areas between Pine and Fig. And it would go north to Washington Street, and it would go south to include the Rosenthal School.
yeah, that's good.
And what I'm thinking is I may take this is my laptop computer. I may take this down to Andy Buckholz and see if he can print on the large size paper, like so. If he can print that portion between Pine and Fig, east and west, and between Washington and the Rosenthal School to the north and south. Rosenwald School. And that then would be the beginning or that would be our blank slate.
Yeah. And Megan could go from there and do what she did for the Historic Society.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I will undertake to contact Andy and get this document that we're talking about created.
Well, we're on the point, Walter. How many sites have you got on that?
I haven't counted them.
Well, count them.
Well, hold on a second. It's probably between 14 and 18 sites.
Oh, wow.
Well, this includes things like the Kellogg Building. It includes the various barber shops and gas stations.
yeah.
You know,
It
if it has any Black significance, it belongs there.
Mhm.
That is great.
Gallup's Court on 500 Washington Avenue. Is that part of the map of 500 block of Washington Avenue?
Should be.
Could be. It's difficult to count them on this map that I wrote up because it's a lot of scratching. But it's also, as you have seen, when I circulated this list.
Mhm.
Now, if we look at this list, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got 14 on the list that I had circulated earlier. So the bigger we make this, and I think this should be the size,
Yeah.
the easier it will be to put in the data. And it would be a brief description, and there'd be an accompanying text on another sheet of paper that describes in better detail the research that some of you are doing.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, Mehdi, is that the size of the current Historical Society map?
I think it's about the size of a legal paper and then
Walter, yeah. Okay.
folded into 3.
Walter, what size is your paper? Is it 11 by 18?
Um,
I think it's 17.
Let me find out.
11 by 17? Maybe
It
that's
is 11 by
17.
17, yes.
Legal size paper.
No,
Well, it's bigger
that's
than
not
legal
legal.
size.
That's
it's
not
This
legal.
is bigger than legal size.
Oh, legal is
Yeah,
14.
It is bigger than legal.
Yeah, legal is 14.
Right, right. I just inherited a printer that I believe can print that size paper.
You
Great.
But
Way to go.
I haven't been able to, I haven't had the time to power it on and clean it and try to get it working.
I have found the paper. It's this one. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have a copy of that.
Yeah.
Hold it up again and talk, Mehdi.
So it is this size. Actually.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's square and then folded into 2 and then folded into 4.
Okay, that's bigger than this one.
it is. It's sort of like it's that twice.
Mhm.
Because it is actually a square. It's not just, this one is probably a legal size.
Oh, that's looks bigger than legal size.
Yeah, it is bigger. I'm pretty sure it's bigger.
So I don't know what the size of this is. And then there's a map right there in the middle of it,
Oh, boy.
right there.
I think ours will be a larger map and less writing just because we won't have the,
So we can, I'm envisioning something along this line, but not necessarily the same exact
It's a good
But the
format.
but the concept will be similar.
Yes.
And this is the brochure. This is now the walking tour guide of the Civil War Trail again. So it's always,
Now, what's the location on that one?
this is the Civil War Trail,
Oh, the Civil War, okay.
yeah. But this is really a bigger area, of course, because that's the Virginia Civil War Trail. But
What size do we want to use of the
well,
map
I
itself?
think we will have to talk about the sites and how we'd like the map to look at. So perhaps we need to have a working area, this group will work on that by investigating different brochures, and then I'll have Miss McPhee talk to us to see what she can provide us with technical help in terms of the virtual tour, because I mean, I'd like to show you can I share the screen? How do I share the website?
See on the bottom, that green share screen?
Yeah,
Click on that.
but then if it's a website, how do I?
If it's a website, when
You
you,
go to the website.
yeah, you'll see it on when you click on it, you'll see if you have the website up on your computer, you'll see it.
Mhm. Okay, I'll need to get to the website first.
Right, yes.
And then you highlight that and then you do a share.
Well, while Mehdi is doing that, I think I may have a copy, maybe not the latest, but a physical digital copy of that walking tour. And I have to look to see, I save a lot of stuff on my computer. And I was involved in trying to revise it back in like the mid 2000s, 2005, somewhere around there. So I will look to see if I can find a copy, because that might be, it won't be what Mehdi has now. It obviously, some things may have changed, but if it's really historical, they probably shouldn't have changed. And, you know, if they're old, they're old. And I don't think they changed the write-ups. But I can look and see if I can find a copy. Because if I can, there might be a map in that we could copy for you to use, Walter.
Mhm. Good.
I cannot find the site.
Which one are you looking for, Mehdi?
The Clio site for the,
Yes, I have it on my cell phone. Hold on.
the walking tour by Amanda McPhee.
Let me Google it. Is it Cape Charles walking tour?
Charles, yes. Museum walking tour. Can't find it.
Yeah, I've got it. It's capecharlesbythebay.com.
Can you put it up on the screen?
You want everything. I'm not sure if,
It's
oh, here, map and directions, is that it, or?
no, it's like, I wonder if you can obtain it through the museum.
Mehdi,
Yeah,
it's theclio.com.
I'll do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's the Clio, CLIO.com/entry,
Wait a minute. The Clio, CLEO,
ENTIO.com
CLIO.com.
/entry, ENTRY
Okay,
/106100.
106100.
Correct.
Okay,
And it's an HTTPS if you're putting in HTTP.
Okay, I've got it. It's Cape Charles Museum and Welcome Center. And it's got a little map there that I can make really big. And then I will share screen. And there it is.
not yet, it's not, oh, there it comes, okay.
It's coming.
So I got it now.
You see it?
Yes,
But that's the map.
That's not the walking tour, Bill.
That's not the walking tour.
Go back one page.
Let me go back. I'm gonna stop sharing.
I have the Clio, I have the walking tour right on my computer now. So how do I share?
You want to share it?
Yeah, how do I share this now?
Okay, then you hover over the bottom there. You see share screen?
Mm-hmm.
Click on that.
Yeah.
Now, do you see a bunch of windows, and one of them will have your walking?
Safari. Okay, here.
Now, highlight that. Just click on it
Mm-hmm.
and then share screen.
Bill, you can go back to the Cape Charles Museum and Welcome Center
Uh-huh.
and scroll down beyond backstory and context to cite this entry.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, uh-huh.
The last line is the link to the Clio.
Oh, okay, let me do it.
Well,
Yeah, well, that's where I was.
well,
There's a map here, but that's not the map that Mehdi's referring to. I don't have that map. Mehdi, how are you doing with highlighting what you want to show us?
well, it does not show the Cape. The title is the Cape Charles Museum and Welcome Center, created by Melinda McPeak, and it is the tour is a virtual museum.
So what's the URL for what you just say it again?
It's the Clio.com.
The Clio.com.
Entry 106100 tour.
Oh, tour. I didn't put tour on it. Okay, now. Same thing.
Else, if I send you the link, maybe
Yeah, so put the link in the
chat. I'll put it on chat.
yeah, put it in chat. Send it to everyone, and the first one that gets it.
Okay, where's the chat now?
Oh, chat is right next to the share screen
There,
to the left is.
everyone. Okay. And then I do.
Okay.
Oh, you got that
Oh, there's a slash between the.
right? Yeah. So see if you
I
can.
was missing a slash. Gotta do every little detail.
So are you able to open it?
I got a different picture this time. It's Cape Charles Museum and Welcome Center.
Yeah, and that's, if you click on start, you will begin to,
On start. Oh, I'm okay. I'm gonna click on start.
and the entries would be the one on the left, the museum building, Bloxham Station, Jetty House, all that sort of thing are listed one after another.
Yeah, I did that. And then I got this museum building. Do you want me to do the one that just has them all listed there?
Yeah, well, I just want you to have an idea about what.
Okay, let me share that one. Let me share that one. Okay. Here we go.
This is not as intuitive as one would hope,
Oh, sure.
as
Sure,
I would hope.
sure it is.
No, it isn't.
Hey, something's coming. You see it, something, guys?
Yeah, so now you're sharing it. Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah, right.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I've got that too, but I don't see a map in that space.
I think what you see here now, so if we click on the museum building,
Yeah.
Oh, actually, click on the negative sign on the lower right, and the map will come up to you.
the map is there, right? Yeah.
Where is that, Walter?
The lower right of the map, you see on the plus and minus,
Yeah, yeah.
click on the minus.
Oh, that makes sense.
Keep going, keep going.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, now.
Now I'll share that, or do you see it?
We can see
I've
it.
got it on my laptop right now.
Okay.
I can see
Am I
yours.
am I sharing that with everybody?
Yes,
Okay, now, next thing, I'll go above that to the upper right corner of the map.
And make it big?
Click that.
Yeah.
Now you can make it smaller or larger
Yeah,
with that plus and minus.
so you can have like a bird's eye view and then the detail.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
and you don't need that whole map. You only need as far as Fulcher.
Yeah.
And you don't really need to go. What you really want is just a historic section.
That's right.
I
Like-
mean, I don't even know. You might want to include Rosenwald, which is not that far south anyway.
Rosenwall is identified on the map.
Yeah, it's right here,
Yes,
but
I'm
I
just
just
saying,
saw it there. It's
I get
it's
that.
gone away.
Cape Charles Colored School right there, yeah.
Yeah, I think we ought to make that part of the walking tour. Although I don't know if it's safe to make that part of the walking tour. Because you have to walk over the hump.
Yeah, but
But it ought to be on the map because people will jump in their cars if they think it's important.
Or their golf carts or their bikes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Walter's boundaries are the ones we should go with.
This looks
So-
like a modified Google map.
so this one really
It is, I bet.
can be made detailed as we can, as we'd like, if we want to show the different houses that had small businesses.
Yeah, this is a Google map.
This is a Google map. We could just go and look at Google without any annotation except this.
But you get on Google because you've registered with Google, but Megan can probably tell us how we can get the
Yeah,
mark.
right, yeah, she did this so she could tell us how to do it.
But if we start with the 14 sites that Walter's called out, that would be do you have any sense of how much it costs the Historical Society to do their
I
map?
don't know, I have no idea. She is with a school in Maryland, and so I'd like to really just ask her what how she did this for the museum and whether, how much it cost them and all that.
You know, we could do the map in addition, because the first edition, we might not have a lot of narrative.
We could also try, apply for a grant to
Yeah,
do the printing.
Bill, if you look at the map, look at the lower border of the map, there's a thing called terms of use.
Yep.
If you click on terms of use, I just did that. And they sort of have a license. You see where it says terms of use in the lower right corner?
Right above directions.
Yes,
Oh, in baby print.
yes,
Of
right
course.
there.
Is that a live thing?
It is. I just went there.
Oh, Google.
There's a license.
Yeah.
Paragraph number 1 is about a license.
And that's Google's terms of use.
Yes.
Google Maps, Google Earth.
Okay, we are definitely in the weeds. Let's get out of the weeds and defer to Megan. But I think the concept that you have here, Mehdi, is certainly the format.
right, because then we can add and change and edit the content as we gain more information, but we can get the product out immediately.
Mhm.
We're out of the weeds. So
So at the next meeting, I'll have,
so we would kind of, the virtual tour, which came first, the virtual tour or the printed map? Do you know?
Printed map.
the printed map is different. The virtual tour really is limited to the structures outside, the trains but
Okay. Oh, okay. I see. The virtual tour is immediate
It's
area.
focused on the museum and the museum history, including the rail history.
Okay. So we would do our printed map first, and then we would go with a virtual
well,
website.
I think we could
could
go
probably
with
Do
the
both in parallel.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could. Is Clio a platform?
I think it is the program that she uses to get all this content organized along this line. So it's an application.
Okay, that's it. Then you answer the question. I wonder. One thing we should find out if there's a license fee for using Clio.
Yes, so we certainly need Melinda to give us all this information because she's the one who developed this and knows all the things that we are asking about perhaps.
Notice at the bottom in the light blue, it says generate printable map.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that may be something to dabble with and see what we can come up with. And then we would need to decide how we want to use it. Notice on this particular map, they have highlighted things like dead rise pies, coastal baking. Ideally, we would want to delete those things
Right, you would like
and
to
have only our sites highlighted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, those are people, those locations, they've registered with Google. And that's the benefit of registering with Google. You get one of those balloons on their website.
but
Like a
perhaps
thumbtack.
Yeah. But there might be a way to
to just generate the sites that we
generate
like.
balloons.
Yes, so we will
There
have,
might be. And perhaps Andy Buchholz knows how to use Google Maps and print things.
Andy knows
Uh,
everything.
You know, he may well know about the licensing or what we permitted to do. He may be able, or he may have a license himself or something like that to generate a map that doesn't have those bubbles, but has the bubbles we want to have.
Yeah. So between, I would think Melinda and Andy, we, you know, we get,
But I'll have Melinda speak to us at our next meeting.
and if she
Good.
doesn't know, Joan will know.
If you go to the Clio.com, the first thing about Clio is it's an educational website and mobile application that guides the public to thousands of historical and cultural sites throughout the United States, built by scholars for public benefit.
Ah, it's free.
Each entry includes, so I think we have to look more about their FAQs, but it sounds to me like I don't think they charge us. They're a nonprofit, so they're looking for donations also. Excuse me.
And then we can, the noteworthy thing is we can share this in all the social platforms so that people can even take a look at, take the tour even without being present in the
You don't have to be in
location.
the town. You
Yeah.
can be anywhere. You
Right.
can be in Ghana.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Wow.
I think that we can agree that this would be really an important way to show the sites that we are going to include. Because we can just list them one after another like this in the order that we feel is
Yeah.
most.
Well, the nice thing about this is it seems like you could start small and add sites as you go.
Yeah,
That was my point. And not only on sites, but a narrative associated with sites.
yeah, and
Right.
we can edit the narrative depending on the information that
Right.
we get as we go along. Yeah.
On my laptop, I just went to generate printable map. And there's this map then appears as the page. And if you scroll down, the second page below the map is entitled Entries on this Tour.
Aha.
And it lists there the different places they've highlighted.
Wow.
And if you scroll down further, there is number 1 is a museum building. Number 2 actually is, number 3 is Bluxom Station. You go on down, number 4 is Jetty House.
Yeah.
This looks like something like what we would want to do.
Yeah.
If you go and download this, it has separate pages that give the a backstory and content about the various places.
Yeah.
This looks like something we would want to use as a model. If we can make our own map just like this, you notice there's some history about the site, the address. This looks like something we would want to
Yeah. And
replicate
yeah, right. Yeah.
This
with our
is,
own data.
Melinda's work product, it looks like.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she's,
Mhm.
Is everybody seeing this? That can you see it?
Yes, yes. I have it up
Yes.
on my computer screen as well, but I'm seeing what you're sharing, Bill.
I'm just kind of going through.
Oh, yeah.
Walter,
Yeah.
you are a true explorer. You are one busy guy.
That's what good lawyers do, Bill.
I tell you, I should have had Walter for my divorce.
yeah,
That-
so really this will incorporate everything that we'd like to happen with our project.
You nailed it, Maddie. This is our space.
Mhm.
Melinda, she didn't do this for free. How much did, we have to,
I don't know. I have a dinner meeting with her once I
start
return.
getting
from
some
my-
costs so we can see what we're getting into. But if they could do it, we could do it.
Sure.
And we
It
just
looks
budget
like,
for it, we budget for it and, you know, convince the membership that this is the most important thing
mm,
in sliced bread.
but it's really exciting to see all this information collected in one place. And one can really just do a lot of other things once we have all this information together.
I would use it, you know, if we use this format, we probably could, one, save a lot of time and cut some of her consulting fee.
Well, I don't know what this will cost yet, but we certainly need to find out.
Yeah.
But it looks like she seems really eager to help.
And it looks like if we give Clio their, see this thing here? Their logo,
Mm.
they're happy with us and we're happy with them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and this connects all the historical sites in the country, so we can really be part of the whole story.
We're on the map.
Right.
You're really happy, aren't you, Mehdi?
So I'm happy that I discovered this in the museum. Anyway, the museum indeed is a veritable repository of information. They have a lot of photographs of old Cape Charles that we could, as we make our content, as we develop the content, we can also check with them what photographs they have of the old sites.
Who were
So-
you working with at the museum?
Mario Nar,
Oh, she and I are good buddies.
yeah.
Uh,
And I have access to the museum because I'm volunteering there on Thursdays and Fridays.
so,
And I have a key to the museum.
so you developed a good partner.
I think we need to be a little bit thoughtful about including photographs in this, because photographs take a long time to load. And if you want to have people walking like with a smartphone, you don't want to have so many photos that they can never get from point A to point B to point C. You may want to have different links to photos, but I
Mm,
don't think you want to have them in line.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, these are technical things that
Yeah, we'll leave that to Joan and Reggie.
You agree, Reggie?
I'm laughing as well, John.
So between John and Reggie and Melinda, perhaps we can have the technical know-how to get this off the ground. And Walter, of course, with-
Walter is our chief researcher.
right, yeah.
He's our math master.
If you form a team, I want to be on the team with Walter.
Mhm. Okay.
All
So-
are welcome.
Shall we
Map
move-
thing, this map thing is exciting.
I'm excited about this. So let's move on to our next consideration in this meeting.
Mehdi, it's 2:00. How long are you gonna go?
Well, no, so if it's 2:00, I'd like to stop now because we really have a lot that we already discussed. So I think we have come to some kind of goal now as to what we're going to do with the information that we will gather. And And I think the next thing that we need to do is to begin collecting the content for this tour, virtual tour, by doing the interviews, and the interview committee will soon finish their work, and we can begin doing the actual content building.
Are we gonna have enough people to interview?
Well, that's for each one who has been assigned a site. Those are the things that you need to explore as to who is available for interview, that may give you more information about the site that you are assigned to do.
Okay.
When you said enough people to interview, Bill, what do you mean? Enough interviewers or enough interviewees?
Ease.
Okay.
Listen, I have to run, guys. I gotta plug my phone back in. I'll watch the rest of this on the recording.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're done.
All right.
We're done.
All right.
So I think Tom will be a valuable resource in terms of identifying the people who might be connected with this site. And from him, and also I discovered that in the museum with the oral history that Linda Schultz did, there's a lot of people there that we could interview also for this project, because they are also residents of this community.
Yeah, yeah. Mehdi, I'm embarrassed to say I did not review the minutes of the tour. But is there a list somewhere of our site assignments? I think I have the barber shop.
You have the barber shop and the samples, the
Right.
barber shop on Jefferson
That's
and
one.
the
That's
samples
one place.
barber shop.
So I just have one location.
The samples barber shop is with the big elephant too,
Oh, I have the big elephant as well.
but John
started
has the
there.
big elephant.
It started there, Bill.
It started at the big elephant.
It started, I think, as one of the businesses in the Big Elephant, from what I remember Tom
Yeah,
said.
and then they moved, and then they moved.
Somebody else has big elephant, right?
I do.
John does.
Okay.
Bill, I think you only have the barber shop on Jefferson Avenue.
Yeah, okay. That's what I
Mhm.
thought. But
But you mentioned that you would like to do the samples too.
it's the same one.
Oh, is that the same one? That's already then when they moved from the big elephant.
Yeah.
Okay. So the people to interview there would be members of the sample family.
Yeah, maybe is the football player is still alive, right?
I have no idea.
Yes.
Does he come here, Reggie?
Not very often.
But he would be a tremendous resource.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, that's a start.
All
All right, I can't go any longer, guys.
Me too. So we can end this meeting, and thank you all very much.
Okay, and I'll send
Thank you,
everybody the video.
Okay, thank you.
Ha-
And
ha-
the next
Fourth of
meeting will
July.
be the 3rd, will be after the assembly meeting again in the next month.
Okay.
All right.
All
Okay,
right,
thank
take care,
you.
guys.
Thank you.